What's up, y'all? Welcome back to MSM Audio. I'm Tim. Thank y'all for tuning in. Today, I wanted to go over my new favorite tool, which is Kontakt 8 Chords Tool. Now, I've used pretty much only Scalar. Pretty sure y'all know about Scalar, and I love Scalar. I pretty much used it in a basic manner. I do need to flesh it out, the full capabilities, but I'll probably do a video on that too. But this right here, I liked almost immediately, mainly because of the user interface, right? So here you have your chords tool at the top. You have your visual representation of 7 chords. Um, like these circles represent like the semitones, and the chromatic scale doesn't really do anything. It's just a visual representation, right? Then in your white keys, you have your, once you strike each white key for the chord, right? Corresponding chord, right? Under each chord, you have this parameter here. If you want to drag your chord into your DAW, you can do that. Then there's this randomizer button here. And I love randomizers, first of all, but I use them as like a last resort if, creatively I can't come up with anything. And, or if I just want to not necessarily create with intention, just explore and try to find things. I love going to the randomizer and finding, happy accidents. Like nothing like finding a good happy accident, something that you didn't mean to do, sounds great. You go from there. Then you have your search parameter. Here on this left side, you have your chord sets. It's about 134 different presets of chords, and you have your this filter here, this browser, where you can separate the type of chord you would like to hear. Genre, type, style, and then your list of the chords there. And then here, you can adjust the octave. You have your humanize function. Hit this up arrow. You can adjust the humanize settings, create some imperfection in your chord sounds. You have your strum parameter to give some delay to the chords. You can strum up or strum down. And then, of course, you can adjust your key. You have your lock parameter, so you can lock in your key as you're going through different chord sets, and your settings parameter here. If you want to change the keyboard mode, play with the mappings, and change everything to what suits you best. And if you want to take the entire chord set, you can click and drag into whatever DAW you're using. Now, this here is just another visual representation of the chords. Doesn't make any sound. And then here you have the visual representation of the keyboard as well, which I do love. Now, so you have your chords tool, and you can scroll right down into your plugin of choice. So you can choose your chords, scroll right down, and then start sound shaping your chord sound. So to have everything in one place is probably the number one thing for me. What else? And if you don't, I'm using 40 zone keys for this one, but you can swap out your instrument, right? Come right to the left and swap it out for any other instrument. So in terms of user interface, I just love that to begin with, right? So the other thing that I love is obviously the chords tool makes it easier for you to create music and give your songs, more depth and emotion and all those different things. But, I post piano videos too. And for me, trying to learn the piano, this is also a tool to help with that side of things, right? Learning to play an instrument, learning music theory, and to have this visual tool as you're going through the chords, it helps you to learn about different types of chords, different types of progressions, chord voicings. So much information is here. So, yeah, while you're creating, you can easily find some chords that you'd like to use. But then on the flip side, if you just want to learn, you can play out the chords yourself and build those skills that way, learning to play an instrument. So, for instance, and up here I left out this record option. So let's say you're going through your chord sets and you find a progression that you like, but you want to swap out a chord or you want to adjust a chord. You hit record, play the chord that you want to replace, and you can just insert and keep creating. I love that option also. So let me see. For instance, this is I went to, how do I get there? So I went to the filter and I chose, was it R&B? I think it was medium or complex, popular. Chose classics for this sound that I'm using in 40's on keys, and I found this progression. So again, right, you can use the progression and then you can come back if you just want to learn how to play the chords, right? So I got another instance open of Kontakt 40's on keys. So again, scroll over and it shows you the notes, shows you the chords. So you can play it yourself and learn how to play the chords, right? So let me go back and actually let me play it here first. Let's take a look at the notes real quick, right? G, 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 across a few octaves, A sharp, D, and F. Let's come back. Let's look at the next one. Okay, so took out that third G and moved some of the notes around. Let's see, D, F, A sharp, C3. Let's see, so that would be, so you could go, what was it, D. So now, this progression that I found that I liked, I can practice it, learn how to play it on my own, and also I can remember, okay, this is G minor, and I can figure out what the progression is, 1, 4, 5, 1, or whatever it is, and I'll know I like G minor and whatever the progression is. So when I come back to creating, I can always have that in the back of my mind. I know I like how G minor sounds with this progression, and I can have all of these tools at the ready to start playing and creating. So as you go along and you find different chord sets that you like, you can remember the key, you can remember the progression, you can remember the different chords, and just get practicing. So not only creating music, it's a great learning tool, right? So again, the user interface, have your chord tool up top, scroll right down to your plugin. You can swap out the plugin and you can learn music theory, chord progressions, You can learn chord voicings, play them on your own, build up those skills. If you can't get any formal training, because I'm teaching myself right now, but again, you can gain so much just from creating with the user interface and then learning how to play on your own. And you build up those skills intuitively so that you don't always have to rely on a chord tool, and it'll instead just enhance what you can already do. So it works both ways. So this is why this is my favorite tool right now. Kontakt 8, Chords Tool. Definitely check it out. And let me know what you think. Again, from a standpoint of learning, I think this can take you to the next level if you take the time and not just use the chord sets that are here, but to also learn them, play them on your own, and equip yourself with different keys, different chord progressions that you like. So when you're creating, you can have some go-tos as you're going through sounds, right? So let's just go through some of the chords here. Let me go back to the presets. Again, it's like 134. Let me just go through a few of them. Let's see how they sound. That was Zenith. Let's do Waves. Turn around. Like that one. But again, even if you don't like the particular chord set, you may find one chord or two chords that you like, and you can adjust them into your own chords, your own progression to make it fit what you're doing. Nice. Shimmer. Prague Sun. This is Now. This is Moments of Love. Just 7 of Us. So you get the point. 134 chord presets to go through. Again, you have, your change your key. You can record your own chords. So a lot of different options here, but the main thing for me that grabbed my attention is the user interface. Chord tool up top, plugin right at the bottom, just to scroll down. You can swap out a new instrument very easily. Sound shape on your plugin. You have the visual representation of the chords. You can learn about progressions, different chord types. Learn how to play the progressions yourself. You can figure out which chords sound good to you and equip yourself with more tools to create. Thank y'all for tuning in. Stay positive, stay purposeful, stay creative, stay confident. Most of all, keep going. See you on the next one. MSM Audio.